am I burning my whole life to the ground this year? Like, I thought we were just maybe, you know, exiting a relationship.
I can say that I'm fine. I watch the days keep moving on.
It's October and it's hot and there are fruit flies. There's still fruit flies. So this is why my iced coffee is covered like this. I really need to buy like an iced coffee cup with a lid. Okay, let me set the scene on today's video for you. This is one that honestly might not ever make it to the cutting room floor, you know, or past the cutting room floor. I don't know, we'll see, but it's the end of the year. It's the fourth quarter. And I always like to do like a big video push at the end of the year. I was looking back at my channel and I was like, is there anything I need to close the loop on? Anything that performed really well this time last year? And I stumbled upon my video where I first brought up the fact that I was getting divorced, and I rewatched it. And I have to say, I do think I did a good job. Like, I think that was a good video in terms of it was to the point. I think I was very respectful of my ex. You know, I think I told you guys what was going on without like violating, I think, like where I was comfortable sharing the line that I was comfortable sharing. That was bad English, but you understand what I mean. But I do think it lacked some heart. You know, I think like that was the very sterile, like business response, I guess. And yeah, like I said, that was for a lot of reasons. It was because everything was so new. I wanted to be really respectful. It's also because honestly, these types of videos are so hit or miss for me on this channel. Like, some of you guys love this kind of stuff. Like, you guys want to know everything. You're nosy just like me. Like, in my favorite creators, I'm like, I need the tea. I need everything. And not like in a, you know, nasty way. Just like, I care about this person, or they're, you know, I'm in a similar life stage as them. And so what can I learn from this situation, whatever. And then other people are just like, just talk about business. Putting this at the beginning of the video, because if you are one of those people who's like, shut up and sing, shut up and talk business, like this is not the video for you. If you are, you know, a man who's going to tell me that like I'm old news and I'm no longer interesting because I'm old, whatever, please just go, because I'm gonna block you and I'm gonna delete your comment. And like, I have zero tolerance for that kind of thing. Okay, all that to say, we're gonna do the divorce update. Another thing that prompted this video, honestly, is I'm going to a concert tonight by myself. And I'm honestly not feeling it. Like, I kind of really don't want to go, and I'm kind of like forcing myself to do my makeup just to force myself out the door. So I think that is kind of point one of the divorce story, is learning to live and exist on your own. And for me, this has just been one of the most important lessons, I think, as somebody who has truly like never been on my own in any way. I mean, I'm 34. I have had a boyfriend basically since I was 14. This is the longest that I've ever been single. And it is an adjustment. I did have one apartment where I lived alone in college, like without roommates, without a boyfriend, that kind of thing. But I was dating somebody, my college boyfriend, he basically lived there. Like, he was there all the time. So living alone was an adjustment. Just doing things like going to concerts alone, going to dinner alone, has been a huge adjustment. And I think there's two things to this. One, I'm so grateful for this time to be okay being alone, to like learn how to like get over it and just be like, just go to the concert alone. Like, what's the issue? Two, it's shown me that I never really have to be alone. Like, no, you might not have a boyfriend, a husband, a partner to go with you, but I am so loved in so many ways. Like, this year has truly been like my year of friendship. And I think I've had healing with my family as well. Not that we ever had like bad issues or anything, but I just feel like closer to my family, obviously. I feel like I have such a newfound, I don't know the right way to say this, because I've always respected my mom, but I kind of have like a newfound respect for her in that, you know, her and my dad split up when I was 7. And so I'm like, wow, like you've been like alone, you know, you've been like single for a long time. And like, I have newfound empathy, I guess maybe is the word I'm looking for. And so I think we've kind of bonded in a different way. And yeah, all that to say, like, I don't have to go to the concert alone. I could easily hit up one of my friends. I could ask a date to go. I feel like a concert is kind of like weirdly intimate. But anyway, I don't have to be, is the point. Like, if I really didn't want to go alone, you don't have to. And if you're in a similar situation, a divorce, a breakup, like really truly look at your community, look at your network, and just start reaching out to people. Like I just started saying yes to everything. I went on a cruise with my friend Shelby to Europe. Like it was like an intense, like, you know, bonding experience. It was like 12 days. I just said yes. She asked me to go, and like a previous version of myself, like a married version of myself, or even like a partnered version of myself might have said no, or might have like had second thoughts about it. Like, oh, do I want to be away from my boyfriend or husband for that long? Do I have like emotional space for like a deep friendship like that? That kind of thing. I might have done that, a previous version of myself, but I just said yes. I started just like, if somebody would DM me, obviously within reason, not like a, you know, creep or anything, but like if like a cool girl was like DM'd me on Instagram, was like, hey, I'm in your city. Like, do you want to hang out? Do you want to get coffee? I would just say yes. I think you just have to put yourself out there. You know, I know that sounds really basic. I started on Bumble BFF. That's how I started to make kind of some of my first friends. I had friends, like I had like in-person friends already, but I actually enjoyed meeting people on Bumble because there is some stigma and some kind of shame associated with divorce. And like pretty much all of my friends are either married or in serious relationships. And there is just a certain degree of like, they just don't get it, especially if they've been married or partnered for a long time. I personally had never been on dating apps until now because like I said, serial monogamous. My ex-husband and I were together for almost a decade total, including, you know, dating and marriage. And so like, when people are just like, oh, like, have you tried dating apps? Or the opposite, like, oh, dating apps are so weird and bad. Like, just go out into the wild and meet people. And I'm like, you don't understand. So please stop. Like, also don't give me marriage advice or relationship advice if you've been married or partnered shorter than I was married and partnered. Like, that's like my pet peeve. I'm like, you're 25, you've been married for a year. Talk to me in 5 years, okay? Where am I going with this? It was nice to be able to meet other people, other friends who were in like similar life stages, or just like who knew you as like the separated or divorced friend, who never knew you as a part of this unit, you know, because I think that is, you know, it becomes a part of your identity, and it can be hard to like ask somebody to get to know a new version of you, if that makes sense. You know, when this was first happening, I'm a very anxious person. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but I was so afraid of like sleeping alone, you know, like being in a house alone, just doing things alone, traveling alone even, I remember, was so scary, which it was weird because I traveled alone before, but then after being married, you do become like kind of so codependent and you forget like that you can do these things. And now it's like night and day. Like, I'm just like, I don't even care. I hear weird sounds in the night all the time now, and I'm just like, I don't even care. Like, like whatever. Like, there's just like a certain peace. And obviously I have like security systems, and like I have people who have my location shared and trusted emergency contacts and like all that. Like, be smart. Like, obviously don't like just truly say whatever. Like, my mom knows that I'm a little anxious Annie over here, and so, you know, she will always pick up the phone if I have something weird going on with my house. I have like male friends and stuff who I know I could call if I did have like a safety concern or things like that. So like, reach out to your people, like let them know where you're at. But at the same time, just, I think I've gotten at peace. That was bad English again, but I've found peace in that. Like, I'm not saying like I want to be taken out, you know what I mean, in the middle of the night, if you know what I mean. That's not what I'm saying. But like, I just have peace that like, I don't know, God, the universe, whoever, you know, whatever you believe, like, is looking out for me. And like, I don't need anybody else. And I'm careful with that because I do think humans need each other and whatever, but I don't think it needs to be a husband right now. And then as far as just like existing and like finding company and all of that, there's this quote I always see, I don't like on Instagram and stuff. I don't know what it is verbatim, but it's basically just like, you will never have this version of yourself again. Take time to enjoy her and be with her. And that is so profound because, like I said, I've been dating since I was 14. I've been dating for 20 years. That is more than half of my life. It's my entire adult life and then some. And I have never been single. I have never dated. I've never just like went on a date, like went out to coffee and then like went out to a dinner with somebody else and like had fun and had it not be like this extreme pressure and like, oh my gosh, you've got to like be, you know, this person's wife, like, you know, like the responsibility of that. And there's pros and cons to that, right? Because I love security and stability and I love partnership. I do. Like I told my therapist this because I'm like, sometimes I feel like the modern dating kind of commentary, like I'm always getting like posts on Threads and Reddit and stuff. And I feel like it kind of like shames people out of like wanting partnership because I do want to find a partner again. I want to get married again. I believe I bring a lot to a partnership. I think I'm a catch, even though I'm like old, as some people like to say. I am at my best when I am in a strong partnership, but I am better if I'm alone in a not so strong partnership, you know? Anyway, what I was thinking about my therapist is I told her that I was just like, you know, I need to be happy being alone. Like, and that's kind of like what therapy speak social media has taught me, I think. And she was just like, it's literally the most natural thing in the world for humans to desire partnership. Like we were literally born to crave that and to partner up and to be, you know, in a pack more or less. And that made me feel a lot better. It's like, I know I don't need a man, but like, yeah, I do believe in love. And like, I'm 34, I'm not like 87, you know, like I get it. If I was just like, you know what, dating seems like a lot. I maybe only have a few years left in me, but like, I've got a long time, God willing. And yeah, I don't want to spend like the next 50 years fully alone, ideally. Man, my shirt is so wrinkly. I just looked at that footage and I'm like, ugh, I hate when I do that. Okay, so let's talk about kind of the impact that getting divorced has had on my business and my life, which I probably should have started with because that's probably what most people care about. I'll say overall, a really interesting thing happened, which is that I've actually kind of cared way less about like work and being like the perfect business owner and being ultra productive and making a ton of money and blah, blah, blah since getting divorced, which I thought it would be the opposite. You know, I thought like, okay, I'm on my own now. I only have myself to rely on 100%. And, you know, like I've got to hustle. And also I thought I would be like wanting to lose myself in work, you know, hey, let me distract myself from the fact that, you know, I'm single and going to concerts by myself and whatever. And like, let me just work all the time. And I found the opposite happened. I think, number one, I realized like a lot of the work that I was doing, and I you know, I just actually want to say this first because you know, one of the big questions people ask me is like, well, why'd you get divorced? I'm not going to like go in detail about that just because there is another person involved in this. I, you know, do have an audience and that's not fair to him to like give a one-sided, you know, story, I guess. I mean, obviously there is some element of this that is one-sided and it's my right to do that, but I'm not going to like go in the weeds with that. Nobody cheated or anything like that. We grew apart, I think is like maybe the best simple way that I could give an answer for. What brought me to that is because I was going to say, I think he probably did the same, but I don't know. I'm not in his head, so I don't want to share his side of it. But I think I kind of lost myself in work as a distraction, you know, as a distraction from like my personal life and things that maybe weren't working or, you know, just things that I didn't want to deal with. It was like, oh, sorry, got to work late because I have this launch coming up, or, you know, can't go to this thing because I'm working, or, oh, I'm traveling, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think in some ways, not intentionally, obviously, like not consciously, I guess, but looking back, I'm like, I worked a lot and I didn't do a lot of things for fun. And we didn't do a lot of things for us or for each other. Like we didn't go on a lot of dates. We didn't, you know, really do a lot of like trips and stuff that weren't business related, that were just for us and blah, 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 blah. You know, I think like I very much like used work as my identity in some ways to protect myself or to, you know, not have to deal with other things that maybe weren't working. So that to say, I think being single, I've been surprised to like learn all these new things about myself or rediscover parts of myself. Oh gosh, now my camera's gonna... Okay. Yeah, kind of like rediscovering things about myself. Like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like I really love music and I started taking music classes again. Again, just for fun, not for like any professional reason, but like this is something I can do for myself and I don't have to feel guilty about it that, oh, maybe I should be spending time with my husband or I should be blah, 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 blah. Like it's just for me. Pilates, found a huge love for that. So anyway, I've learned, wow, I like doing stuff. I like doing stuff that's like just for me. And so actually it's made me kind of want to work less and discover like new sides of me. And I also think that there was an immense amount of pressure on me financially. And I do not, again, I am speaking for myself. I am not saying my ex-husband was like, work harder, do more, like forcing me to do stuff. He wasn't. But like being kind of, you know, being in a partnership, you guys are, you know, responsible for each other, for taking care of each other. You know, I was the quote unquote breadwinner, you know, and I think there was more pressure than I maybe realized even myself that was inadvertent. Is that the proper use of that word? I don't know. Yeah, like it wasn't intentional, but it just was there. Like, I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I have worked really hard and I do want to go on vacation. If I want to do that, like I've got to kind of make that happen, or, you know, just like buying the house and things like that, like thinking about longer term things, right? Like retirement, everything kind of like doubles or just becomes bigger. And when it's myself, I'm like, oh, like I can actually like live for a lot less. I don't want to get too in the weeds with that because I don't want people to read into that too negatively or weirdly. But the point is, I'm only responsible for myself now. You know, going along with that, it's allowed me to think differently. It's allowed me to imagine a pivot. And that's something that I am in the midst of right now. I think I'm potentially going to go back to school. That is something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to go back to school. You know, I've never wanted to just, oh, I've got a successful marketing business. This is it for me. You know, 30 years old, 34 years old, whatever. This is all that I can do. I've always wanted to learn and grow and try new things. And I have so many passions and interests. And again, I felt kind of stuck because I was doing something that was financially successful and was providing for, you know, a family, even if it was just a family of two. And so I was like, well, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to mess things up. I don't want to take up space. I don't want to, you know, lose something that's working. So yeah, I think there's freedom in that. I think there's also a huge negative to that though, too, in that I just feel like, am I burning my whole life to the ground this year? Like, I thought we were just maybe, you know, exiting a relationship, but like, I feel like maybe I need to get a little more serious about things. And also, I'll just say, no matter who you are, I think I said this in the first video too, like, no matter who you are, no matter who initiated a divorce, any of that stuff, it is hard. It is not easy. I know the Keith Urban, Nicole Kidman divorce is in the news right now. And I just see so many people like making like, you know, jokey comments and stuff on like Facebook or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't feel that. Like, you know, a different version of myself would have, you know, maybe laughed at a divorce joke or, you know, speculated about XYZ. As someone who's now gone through it, I just have such empathy for anybody going through this situation because they say divorce is like a death. And I agree, as somebody who's, you know, experienced a death in my family, my dad, and this, like, they're pretty similar. You're literally mourning dreams, you're mourning a person, you're mourning comfort, you're mourning stability. It is a huge disruptor and it is hugely sad. Again, even if you want it, even if you are the one who initiated it, it is still, there's guilt involved with that, right? You feel like, wow, I failed. I gave up on somebody, even though I don't believe that's what it is. In my situation, I have such hope and so much love for my ex that I didn't want him to be in a situation that wasn't good. And I have such hope that there is a better partnership out there for him and for me, if that's what we both want. You know, I truly believe that, you know, the decision we made was out of love for each other, even if it doesn't seem that way. But regardless, there's still a lot of guilt involved, right? And it's a lot of heavy feelings. And so all that to say, where was I going with that? I feel like I'm on a million different tangents here. No matter what, it's hard and it's a life disruptor. I don't think I was prepared for that in terms of my business. Like, I didn't know that I was going to have really hard emotional days. I didn't know that I was going to be like, feel just like absolute garbage human being. Like, wow, I'm the worst person ever. I didn't know like how much of an emotional roller coaster I was going to be on. And therefore, I think the business suffered a lot. And, you know, that doesn't mean that I regret it. That doesn't mean that I would do anything differently. But I think I'm just saying this to you, if you are somebody who's going to be going through a divorce, who's going through a divorce, whatever, who's thinking about it, like, just know that it is a huge life disruptor, and whatever you can do to like prepare for that, I highly recommend, because I don't think I was prepared. I thought it was going to be a walk in the park. And the paperwork is like, for us at least, you know, we didn't have children. We were all in agreement about finances and everything. Like, I'm very grateful for that, right? Because we could have both been petty about it and we weren't. So it was easy. Like, getting it done was easy, but like the actual process of learning how to live again and forgiving yourself, forgiving each other, going through the ups and downs, that was not easy. So anyway, like I said, I do believe that there are partnerships out there for both of us personally, if we want that. And I can only speak for myself, but let's talk about dating. I'm gonna do a little stir fry today, which I haven't done in quite a while, but as you guys know, if you've been following along the vlogs, my favorite pasta sauce is like MIA. I can't even bring myself to say discontinued because I'm just like in denial about it, but probably discontinued, I don't know. And so I've been trying to think of like other meal ideas that are easy, simple, like healthy, high protein. And I was like, you know what, stir fry, or that's not what I'm making. I'm making like a curry. I'm doing like curry vegetables, tofu, and rice. But okay, dating is like a whole topic. I feel like this could be a whole video. I feel like all of these things could have been their own videos. So I guess if you have questions or something about something in particular, let me know. But I'll give you just sort of my, oh, this is gross, tofu juice. I'll give you just sort of my like quick philosophy on dating so far, which I'm by no means an expert or like putting all of my time or effort. Like, honestly, my biggest goal over the past, you know, many months, and again, just want to clarify, when I posted that video, everything had already been happening for quite some time, so it's been far over a year. But anyway, my biggest focus has been just on myself and like personal growth and all of that. But all that to say, okay, dating, my personal philosophy on it, because I see all the stuff. Again, I see all like the threads and Reddit and Twitter and people just talking about modern dating and like how terrible it is. And honestly, yes, like everything you see out there is kind of true. Like, there are a lot of emotionally unavailable people, especially like on dating apps. There are a lot of people who are kind of creepy and scary, honestly. And like, as a woman, especially, as anybody, but I think particularly as a woman, this tripod, we got to get a new one. You got to look out for yourself. You got to be careful. I haven't really experienced ghosting or whatever, but I've, you know, every guy that I talk to, every guy that I meet on a dating app is like, wow, I'm surprised you showed up. Like, nobody shows up. Like, it is rough out here. But I also am a big believer that we also can sometimes like create a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you will. Like, if you only believe, wow, dating is bad, dating is hard, everybody sucks, my person isn't out there. And also, I think if you go into things, into every single date or every single experience being like, this is make or break. Like, at 34 years old, if my second date post-divorce does not ask me to marry him, I'm giving up, right? Like, no, like, just go into it as an experience. Like, every person is an experience. Every place you go, maybe you'll find a new favorite restaurant out of that date. Maybe you and that guy or girl or person or whatever don't vibe, but you found a new cool coffee shop. Like, that really did happen to me. I'm like, wow, this place is awesome. Maybe you just have a good day with somebody. I told you guys one of the personal development things I've been working on is music again, taking music classes again, just for fun. And I just wrote a song lyric the other day that said like, had a good time on a bad date. And like, you can immediately be like, yeah, this person and I are probably not going to work for whatever reason, whether it's the physical attraction and chemistry is not there, whether it's they said something that's like a little like red flaggy or, you know, whatever. But you can still have a good time, have a good hour, 2 hours, however long you spend with them in that moment, you know? That's happened to me several times. Like I said, I found a really cool coffee shop. I went on a really cool hike for hours, literally hours. And I was like, we're already here, you know? And I think like we didn't expressly say it, but I think he felt the same because I mean, he hasn't called me. So I think it was pretty clear, but we had a great day, you know? Also, let me switch this around. The other thing is you may find something that you want or don't want. So I dated somebody in between my husband and now, and it kind of accidentally got pretty serious. Like it was truly by chance that we met. It's like the craziest story. Maybe someday I will tell it. But it truly is like hilarious and also kind of a beautiful love story. And yeah, we were both going through similar things, similar life stages, right? Like divorce and all that. And neither of us were like wanting to get serious with anyone. And it just kind of happened, which is another thing that maybe we'll circle back to if my brain can handle it. But like it's all over the place right now. But if I hadn't dated him, I might be looking for something completely different than I actually am looking for today. This tofu is like sizzling. Hold on. Yeah, so like, okay, a question that have gotten a lot is like, well, what are you looking for? And I would say that like two qualities, or at least the biggest quality that I'm probably looking for right now in a man is affection. I want an affectionate, loving, sweet partner. I would have never said that before I met my ex, the guy that I dated after my marriage ended, because that was what he was. And I never even knew that I liked that or that was important to me until I dated him. You know, he was very generous. He was very just warm. Like those are qualities I never would have said before, because historically that's not really been the type of guy that I've dated. And so again, all that to say, use dating, use meeting people, use experiencing new people, places, things as just like evidence of what you want or what's out there or, you know, what you don't want, right? Because I've went on dates with other guys who I'm like, ooh, like note to self, like this thing, I don't have to put anyone on blast, but like whatever, this quality, this attribute is definitely not what I'm looking for. This, life stage or age group or like whatever. So I think it's all about how you approach things and, the lens you view things through. It can be, oh my gosh, that date was a failure. There's no one out there for me. Or, hey, that guy probably wasn't for me, but now I know blah, blah, blah. Now I know this one thing about him I really liked, and maybe, that can be something that I keep in mind for future dates, or I found this new cool place, or I just met somebody cool. Like, I don't know. The last thing I'll say, like, about the guy that I dated, I do think there is something to that. Like, it was totally random. And I do believe online dating, there are a lot of pros and cons to it. Like I said, this is my first time ever doing it because I never, did it. I think there are actually a lot of good things about it in so many ways. But I do believe in magic to some degree. And I do believe in just like the way the universe works. And I think letting go of some of that like desperation, which I understand, right? It's easy for me to say, I'm somebody who I could go either way with the kids thing. I've learned, like, I've actually changed my mind on that. Previously, I was very, very child free. Now I'm like, I could go either way, but I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to just find the first man to like want to have kids with me because my biological clock is ticking, right? Some people know in their soul they need to have children. And so I understand that, it's a little more pressing, right? The time thing. My camera is going to overheat. I'm going to cook some food and we'll come back for final thoughts. Okay, I was saying basically, I know some people may have like stricter deadlines or whatever. Like you may have like cultural pressures or whatever. But like for me, I'm kind of just like, I'm letting the universe take the lead here. You know, if I'm meant to have children. And you know what? This is another really cool thing about dating, I think, is it forces you to really think about what you truly want, because there are so many different directions my life could go. Like my age range is like 32 to 44, right? So I've dated guys who are like 44 and have kids, who are 32 and in school still. Like there are so many different directions that life could go if I become partnered again. And I think the cool thing about that is like figuring out, well, what do I really want in terms of life, and not just being like, okay, I met you and you're 37 and you want kids, so that's what I'm going to do. No. Like, what do I want? And does your life trajectory work with my life goals, you know? But all that to say also, I think like there is something to the magic of just meeting somebody randomly. And, you know, like in my last relationship, like it happened really naturally and it wasn't forced. And so I think, I clearly don't have I'm not saying like I have all the answers, because, you know, I'm new at this, right? This is my first divorce, hopefully my last divorce. But I think just like drop some of the desperation. I think just like appreciate every day, every moment, every month, every year for what it is. And I know it does get like, there are definitely things that get really depressing and sad about being single, like this concert. I mean, I'm not depressed about it, but like, would it be nice to have like a cute date night? Yeah, it would be. Would it be cute to like plan Thanksgiving with a boyfriend, you not be like alone? Yes. So I'm not trying to be like, oh, suck it up, just stop being desperate. But do just like live your life, focus on you. That's what I'm doing. I'm focusing on being the best version of myself as I can. And I just have to believe if I'm doing those things, you know, the right person, if that's what is meant for me, the universe will put them in my path somehow. And if it's not meant for me, then I'll still be an awesome person and I'll be like, you know, the hottest I've ever been and like just living life, and it's great. Like, so yeah. All right. My food is like, I don't know. It's like over there smoking and on fire almost. So I'm going to go. I'll show you the final products and I'll take a little clip at the concert for you to prove that I went, hold myself accountable. Thank you guys so much for your love and support. If you're a hater, if you're going to write something mean, you suck, bye, you're a loser. Just kidding. The rest of you, I love you, and you're awesome, and good things are coming your way. You guys, I don't know how much more real we can get. This relationship we have is getting serious. You're seeing me in my turby twist. Do you guys know that I have like very curly hair, by the way? Had to wash my hair after the show. I just like have to instantly wash my hair after a concert because I just feel so gross. But I wanted to close out this video with a little story time. I just thought that this totally encapsulated like everything that I talked about in today's video, from female friendship and support, doing things alone, picking up men, meeting men. So first of all, the concert was truly amazing. If you guys like pop punk music and if you like country music, if you like both of them or a bit of each, you guys have to check out Rustin Kelly. He's one of my favorite artists of all time, and this newest album he came out with is seriously so good. Somehow it was even better live. Like, I could have cried. So I'm walking out. I park on the street. It's at the Blind Pig in Ann Arbor for those who are local. I park on the street. I'm walking out, and I can just feel a man in my peripheral vision, you know? And he was like, hey, like, I really like your vibe, like, whatever. And, you know, he's like talking to me. Nice enough, you know, gentleman, whatever. We stopped because like we're at my car, which wasn't ideal because obviously I don't want like a man I just met to know what kind of car I drive. But I mean, it was right there. I didn't know what to do. This girl and her boyfriend or a guy she's walking with, she walks past, she locks eyes with me. And she does that like 3 separate times. Like she sees me, she locks eyes with me. She's walking behind us, locks eyes with me. She goes this way. She keeps whipping her head around and like making direct eye contact with me. And they're about to turn a corner, and like she like paused and just stared at me until I like gave her the thumbs up. And I just like, honestly, I could cry. Like, I love women who look out for other women, which honestly is most. You know, I think that's like one thing that if you are newly single or going to be single or whatever, like, that is one thing I think that can hopefully give you peace is like women look out for each other. We have our own infighting, right? We do stupid things to each other. We can be mean to each other, but I don't know very many women who will see a woman in a potentially, you know, vulnerable situation and not try to look out and like reminder to me to always do that as well. Like it just, yeah, it made me feel so good. But also, I guess if you want to meet men, go to concerts because I got hit on a lot. That guy like was just one, okay? But be on the defense. But yeah, okay, that's it. It was very heartwarming and sweet. Let's all be like the sweet blonde girl in Ann Arbor and go to concerts if you want to meet men. All right, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it was helpful to you all. I hope you like my turby twist, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.